coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains. I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Thanks for watching us. Once again, we're going to be talking about 3-Eye Atlas. This is the latest, and hopefully John Adam will post this tomorrow. But this is our good friend on News Nation with Elizabeth, and we'll see what happens in just a few minutes. First, a word from our trusted sponsor.
Folks, as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season, surrounded by family, remember, the best gift you can give isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year ends, take one smart step toward a safer future. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com, get your free wealth protection kit today. Once again, noblegoldinvestments.com. As we wrap up 2025, we know that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it is a gamble. Folks, noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com.
So Avi Loeb is here on News Nation, and we're just going to roll it, and I'll stop it, and we'll go through it. Here we go.
A mystery in space we've been following since it first appeared in our skies 3 months ago. We are talking about that interstellar object known as 3-Eye Atlas. Most scientists think it's a comet, but one high-profile Harvard astronomer has been making the case on this show and other places that its anomalous behavior and characteristics suggest that it might be alien technology of one kind or another, perhaps a probe. 3-Eye Atlas recently passed closest to the sun and will soon pass close to the Earth. Yet it may not be in one piece when it does. Professor Loeb says that based on his calculations, it looks like 3-Eye Atlas has been losing an extreme amount of mass, which could mean it's exploded into a dozen smaller pieces. So, is it just another fascinating celestial phenomenon, or did the Mothership just separate into a squadron of reconnaissance aircraft? Harvard professor Avi Loeb joins us now.
Now, what you're seeing is Elizabeth Vargas, okay? That's what you're seeing. And what you don't see is the teleprompter in front of her, because she's reading off a teleprompter. The question is, did she craft this story? More than likely not. I don't know that. And I'm not trying to disparage Elizabeth Vargas. But all this, the talking heads, the interviews is real, no doubt about that. If this is not AI generated, I double checked. But she's reading off a teleprompter. So once again, we're talking about 3-Eye Atlas. Is this some sort of a ship which is breaking up into smaller ships? Are we looking at an invasion? Let's see what Avi Loeb has to say about it.
And is only slightly unjust, given everything you've been saying. Did we see it explode, or did we just happen to go back and measure it and say, oh my gosh, it's now much smaller and in a few different pieces?
Well, what we see are 7 jets coming out of these objects, more than 7 actually, after it passed close to the sun on October 29th. And we can see that some of these jets are pointed towards the sun, and they penetrate over 1 million kilometers through the solar wind. We know the properties, the density and speed of the solar wind, so we can figure out that for a natural comet, with the characteristic outflow speed of, these jets that come off pockets of ice on a natural comet, given that speed, we can tell that there is a lot of mass carried by these jets so that they can penetrate through the solar wind, about 5 billion tons. And in order to get that much mass out of ice, we need a large surface area of an object And it turns out that it's the surface area of an object that is at least 20 kilometers in diameter, much bigger than the original estimate for the size of the object. So that would mean for a natural comet that it was broken up into many pieces such that the surface area, the total amount of surface of these many pieces adds up to the amount of mass that we need to release by vaporizing volatiles. Now, in the case of a technological object, maybe the jets are coming out of thrusters, in which case technological thrusters can reach much higher speeds for the gas that comes out of them, in which case we don't need as much mass. The fuel can be a small fraction of the mass of the spacecraft. So the coming weeks will be really decisive. Either we see a fragmented object where the pieces will get separated from each other by the tide from the sun,
So he's talking about thrusters. So it's like, once again, he's couching this whole thing as an alien ship, because a comet does not have thrusters, but an alien ship does. So what are we really looking at? I did a show last week about this, where, the Vatican's talking about baptizing aliens. Congress is talking about the whole UFO, UAP phenomena. Now we've got Avi Loeb on all media outlets. And how does that work? I mean, seriously, think about it. So, are we being prepped for something? In my opinion, we are being prepped for something. And then you've got, which I thought was really interesting, and I've talked about this before. If you've not seen the movie, you need to see it. House of Dynamite, because it's a nuclear event. Now, it never shows the actual impact of the supersonic missile, but it's there. And it's a well-crafted movie, big budget movie. And I have sources that tell me the interiors of the rooms, like where they're tracking the missile, it's literally what it looks like. Now, I can't prove that, but that's what I've been told by people that are in that world. So it's a well-crafted film. The question is, why now? So, inquiring minds want to know, and that's what we do here. We look at things, look at events, and try to walk through them without any hyperbole, definitely, and use critical thinking. So let's walk through it. We've got this movie talking about a nuclear event, and that, by the way, the supersonic missile is headed down into Chicago. So we're talking about 10 million people's lives are lost. We never know in the film who launched the missile. It's not the North Koreans, it's not the Pakistanis, it's not, China, it's not Russia. We don't know. We're never told. So that in itself is a mystery. I have stated in Rungs of Disclosure, and you guys need to do your homework, but I've stated in Rungs of Disclosure, I suppose I should hold it up. Yes, exactly. Here it is. So I've stated that the end game is triggered by some sort of a nuclear event somewhere on the planet. And this is why I find the film on Netflix, you can watch it for free on Netflix, House of Dynamite. So interesting, because it's portraying a nuclear event. Okay, so now we have that. So then we've got 3I Atlas, thrusters. Now, why would he make a statement like that? He has no idea whether these are thrusters. And to even, run up the flagpole, as it were, I mean, that just sends, in my opinion, it steers the conversation in one way. We don't know. We don't know what it is. This thing may just fly by and that'll be it. 6 weeks from now, no one will be talking about it. However, I wonder, why is Avi Loeb spending so much time, promulgating this alien theory, or the so-called Trojan horse, or a black swan event? His terms, not mine. So then we've got the Vatican. I did a show on this last week talking about baptizing aliens, and I showed a clip from our Watcher series, which is incredible. We sit down with Crit Putman talking about Exo Vaticana. He's one of the authors of that. Tom Horn is the other. It's really sobering to me. I'm just going to go on a little rabbit trail here, but Tom and Chris are gone. They've gone to the Lord. And that weighs on me, folks. You got to understand something. It weighs on me. And by the way, we are looking, see, here's the deal. We've got 10 films here. My business partner, Gil Zimmerman, and I created 10 films on the UFO phenomena. We are looking for an entertainment lawyer that can take this, run with it, and get it in the Prime Video, Netflix, whatever. Because we're not, it's just, we're selling them, but it's in a small circle. This stuff needs to go out. If you know of an entertainment lawyer that's a Christian that wants to help us out, la@lamarzulli.net, la@lamarzulli.net. And I'm going to be talking about this for the next couple of shows because we really need to push this out. Now's the time. And we need an entertainment lawyer, someone who could do that to help us. Okay, so let's continue, and we will see what Mr. Loeb has to say.
Would see an object that maintains its integrity and has very high-speed jets coming out of it, in which case we will have to contemplate a technological origin.
What are you going to know this, Avi? I mean, you're obviously watching how each of these 7 pieces now travels. If it's in a coordinated way, or
yeah, we will get data from hundreds of observatories around the Earth, plus the Hubble and Webb telescopes. In the coming weeks, by the middle of December, it will get closest to Earth on December 19th. And by then, I hope we will know the nature of the object, because if it's natural and it disintegrated, we would know what it was made of. We would see the pieces. However, if it maintains its integrity and we see high-speed jets coming out of it, we can measure the speed, we can measure the mass flux. We will know that it's something unusual. So I would hope that by the holidays, we would definitely know what the nature of this object is, and that will be a nice gift for all of us.
yeah, Merry Christmas. We're being invaded by aliens. At least it sounds like Avi will know for sure one way or the other.
Okay, let me just stop there, and I'm gonna roll it back here a little bit. But look at the headline right here: "Mystery in Space. Is mystery object comet or alien?" So this is how they're couching it. And Elizabeth Vargas is doing her job. She's reading off a teleprompter. Then she's winging it. And there's obviously a simpatico. I mean, just look at their faces. She likes him. Avi likes her. They enjoy the conversation. Oh, that's great. It's wonderful. It's great. It's the A team. It is. And only certain people get on the A team, by the way. Those of us who are not on the A list, we hit a glass ceiling, and you never get past that. Never, never, never. That's just how the game is played. It's the same people. I could go down a rabbit hole, but it's the same people endlessly repeated in all media. Just think about that. And I probably need to do a show on it because it's the same, essentially it's the same 100 people over and over and over again. How many Republican congressmen do you think there are in the House of Representatives? Can you name 3? Why is that? Because you only get to see certain faces at certain times. Why is that? Just saying. There's a little food for thought there. So, Vargas is happy. Avi Loeb is happy. Is it a comet or is it an alien craft? We don't know. But this is clickbait and it gets people watching. And I get that. So here we go. Let's continue.
At least it sounds like Avi will know for sure one way or the other, which would be nice to have a definitive answer. Okay. Avi, on December 19th, you're booked on this show too.
I reveal all. Yeah, whatever it is, it's a blind date. Whatever it is, I will let you know if it's The Rock or something more exciting. Either way, we'll learn something new.
Something more exciting may be the most dramatic understatement of the night. Avi Loeb, thank you so much. As always, it's fun and informative to talk to you.
So that's it. It's basically a nothing burger. It's an update, but Avi Loeb is still running with the whole alien thing. And I have to ask why. I mean, why is he engaging in this? Why? I mean, look, this guy doesn't work in a vacuum. He's a Harvard professor. That's number one. Number two, he's on all sorts of shows constantly. So, he's a real smart guy, and I'd love to get him on this show. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but you never know. But, why is he engaging in this? Why is he couching it this way? Why would he go out and call it a black swan event? Why would he warn us that this whole thing could be a Trojan horse event? And I just, I have a problem with all of this because, in my opinion, it's engaging in fear porn. It's engaging in hyperbole. And we don't know what this thing is. We're watching it. We need to watch it. It's everywhere. And, as Christians, we need to wonder what we're looking at. So I had a discussion with Chief Joseph Riverwind, and he emailed me. And he's wondering about 3I Atlas. And he's wondering, I'll read it right here. It's blue, like the blue star Kachina Hopi prophecy that appears before the tremblings of the fourth world, i.e. the tribulation. So the Hopi know about this. Are we looking at the blue star Kachina? We don't know. I find it interesting. That's why we watch. I find Chief Joseph's, text to me very interesting. His last line is this. The timing is uncanny considering what we are talking about. And so we'll see. Right now the thing is blue, but it has changed color several times. Does this relate to the Hopi prophecy? We don't know. So, it's a complex mix. That's why we're following it. Folks, thanks so much for watching. Consider becoming a member, and you get free content. And I'm going to tell you something. Members only are going to get 50% off everything in the store right after Black Friday. Actually, on Black Friday, all members will have, to get anything that they want for Christmas or whatever, 50% off of everything in the store. That's a great deal. That's basically wholesale. And that's why it pays to become a member. You get content, which people don't get. You get the monthly news magazine and 10% off on everything in the store. But after Black Friday, this coming up Thanksgiving, 50% off everything in the store. So it pays to become a member. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate. And by the way, before I go, remember that we do a show every day. So don't wait for YouTube to throw you hey, LA's got a new show. We're here every day, 7 days a week, 365. UFOs are real, burgeoning, not going away. This is the coming great deception. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. That's why we watch. And thank you for watching.